Welcome to Denmark Reel. My name is Amar. With me is Tan Tran. He's he has a Camp Merc in innovation and marketing, and also started a student guide organization called Student Survival Guide.
Yeah,
Welcome to you, Tan.
thank you. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Cool.
Well, how are you today?
I'm fine. This is, the daily life today is quite stressful with a lot of things. I have multiple projects, and I work with people that I really enjoy working with, but this is not like from 8 to 4, and I can feel it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel pretty good. I like that I see the progress of everything I'm doing, and I like that. Michael, that will join later, he's working his ass off, and a lot of frustrations that we need to manage. So yeah, I feel pretty good actually.
Can you tell me about your project with Michael? Actually,
Yeah, that is the project is about a student survival guide. The funny thing is that I was not a part of it in the beginning, but then we established a thing called Norma, a startup hub, and we somehow we just figured, all right, I'm good at business. I love to do that. I see the development of that. Michael is a really talented guy regarding design. So we just ended up like, all right, let's see what we can do based from the different kind of competencies that we have. And before we know it, right now I'm a co-founder of Student Survival Guide, where we try to create content helping students to especially international students to navigate in Denmark and to how to apply for SU or how to actually look for work, apartment, and etc. So we want to give this kind of content to the students. And we also have another actually a parking project, um, which started from 3 months ago, and suddenly it's took off. And Michael is also involved in that right now, where we want to make an app for for people that owns a car and they hate getting fines, parking tickets. So we want to actually make sure that we have a crowdsourcing platform where people can actually express their knowledge to other users of the platform, so that we can actually help people to not get these irritating tickets. So yeah, that's some of the projects that I'm working with.
why? Because in Denmark we have something special about these parking tickets. Actually,
What do you mean?
yeah, the prices of them.
Yeah, it's actually I'm not myself. I got like free parking tickets my whole life in 10 years. But it started by watching a Danish show named Content, and they were covering a episode about big companies taking advantage of people that that can't get the full advantage of complaining, and they just completely ignore it. And I was like, that's a little bit fucked up. Why are they actually taking advantage of their position and just give them people fines, and don't actually want to share the information about it? So I was just thinking we should have something similar to like Fart Control in Denmark that has a crowdsourcing platform for speeding tickets. Then I think that there's also a demand for parking, because in Denmark there's like people get fines for approximately 2 billion Danish kroners. In UK it's about 10 billion Danish kroners as well, and in Germany it's 3.7 billion. So that's a big market on that, and something has to be done, I think, to make sure that people actually can save money, and also the frustration that a parking ticket sometimes can get. Even if it's like you didn't expect it, that's actually the worst thing. I'm fine with getting a parking ticket if I know I park illegal, but it feels terrible if you thought that you actually did everything right and then you get a parking ticket anyway. So that's actually why I want to do it.
How does the parking application make it easier?
It's not about getting easier. It's about getting information flow.
Yeah.
I have been through a PhD application regarding interorganizational learning, and could see that businesses that actually utilize each other proactively are actually performing better. And that is a little bit philosophy, that we actually should not protect our knowledge, but should be shared, because I mean that approach can make sure that the other party is actually going to open up as well. So you actually have a team feeling or community that are focusing on the same goal, no matter what you're doing.
Is that the why behind your student survival guide? To share knowledge, to not hold it back to you, and
well, it's quite hard to tell you what the vision is, because I was not the part of it of the foundation of it. But what I could see, that I actually want to utilize my network and my approach when actually open up the network to collaboration, to do some business, and also make sure that actually we're getting some good piece of information going out. Because I think that if we are open and want to share our knowledge, I think that then we all getting benefit from that. Yeah, no matter what you're actually doing. So it doesn't matter that it's a parking app, or a student survival guide, or community, or volunteer work. It's kind of the same. By being open and honest about your and have a sincere interest on helping other people, I think karma will help you back someday without expecting it. So yeah, that's maybe the why, if you can say it like that.
Yeah, because it resonates. All these projects you are doing actually right now, they have the main goal of helping others, of adding value, maybe.
Yeah, you can probably say that I actually want to make value.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is that I actually I really love the idea of people working together, and not just like, all right, I'm going solo, I'll do the parking up myself. But just be open to every people that I meet and pitch the idea. I always get like really crazy feedback in a positive way, that all right, I didn't thought of that. That's a brilliant. And suddenly I have like, says the guy that Michael that I met like two months ago, that he's involving in that project as well, and I'm involving his project as well, and we are involving in different kind of projects. I mean, it's crazy, but it's actually really fun, and I'm enjoying that, to see that every day we are going forward. And it's like this week, I think it was Monday, we didn't even bought the domain for student survival guide, but we are pushing it. All right, today we're doing this, tomorrow we're taking decision on CMS system, next day we are going to take a template, because we need to move forward. So less than in Monday this week, it's Saturday today. In Monday we bought the domain, and we're actually almost getting ready to get live tomorrow. And that's just the moving forward part, see the opportunities, and I think the best way to describe it is that we're actually doing it together. I mean, I think that's the most important thing, that we all are struggling together, and having fun with it. And I mean, my working time is like 3 a.m, and we're discussing, how does this logo need to minimize when you're scrolling down. Yeah, best thoughts comes after 2 a.m, right? So I mean, it's funny to see how things going forward, just by working with people that you actually enjoy to work with. So it's quite interesting.
Yeah. Great. You mentioned that you have. Can you tell me about a story with the parking app, because you have met a lot of people. I know that.
Yeah.
Well, did you get maybe some ideas from them, or?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, it all started actually, I think it was end of June, that I watched this episode from Content, and the same day, I didn't remember when, that was Saturday or something, I wrote things down, because all right, if we could do this makes sense. And immediately I called, I think it was Thomas, that at that time worked at Danske Bank as a team lead for the development department, and I was pitching this idea, and he got like, hey, well, how about AI? regarding analyzing the parking tickets that people or the complaints that people get in. That sounds like a brilliant idea. All right. Then afterwards, I called my previous colleagues. I called multiple of them, and every time that I actually call and say, "Hey, what do you think about this idea?" I always get a feedback about, you can also do this in the future to add more value. Brilliant. So I ended up actually the founder of Fartkontrollen. He at his peak, he got like 1 million users at his app called Fartkontrollen, which is a crowdsourcing platform for a speeding ticket. And I wrote him on LinkedIn, and it's Martin Bay, a really cool guy. He didn't reply for a couple of days, and then I decided, all right, I gave him a call. And he said that, yeah, of course, if he read about it, but he wants to give me feedback later on. And he just wrote some feedback about, hey, the idea sounds good, but it's about how can we actually make money of that. All right, going back to the box. And it continued like that. Like I always had like people to contact to make sure that I got the feedback. And before I know it, I am currently working with the Danish Technical University about this app. So I have 2 teams working on this app right now with 12 brilliant young students actually that tries to make the first prototype. And I got Michael that is designing this app with the user experience wise and so on. So yeah, basically from 2 months, I got like, hey, I got the idea till that I got an agreement with the Danish Technical University, had this guy with me. Yeah, I mean, just by talking with people and not, have the thought in your mind and just like, yeah, this idea is brilliant. I want to keep it for myself. I'm quite confident that if I can establish the right team, it's not the idea that matters. It's about the team and how you can actually work together for your goal. And that's why I'll see things go forward that quickly. And having fun at the same time. So yeah, that's just basically the short story of talking.
So networking.
Yeah, networking is a good idea, but I think that it's more about also having fun in process, not like networking for the networking, purpose. It's about also, yeah. There was one day I went to Copenhagen, and at that day I met like 4 different people to, just having fun. There was no agenda, but this talk was like, all right, you should do this. I will refer you to another guy that could be a potential business angel and so on. So just by being humble, don't have like a back thought about it, and just having a good cup of coffee and a sincere talk with people, that benefits a lot. And you are nurturing your relationships as well. So it's actually, networking is a good part, but in sincere personal interest in other people is, I think that's the foundation of network.
You mentioned actually PhD.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about it a bit?
Yeah, of course. Well, when I was studying the bachelor in Aarhus University, I was like, I didn't get the best grades, to be honest. But then I moved to master degree, and I met this awesome supervisor. His name is Jacob Flex, one of the most brilliant guy I've ever met. And he's very talented. And I've never had the idea that I was a academic, theoretical guy. But somehow Jacob made it fun, just by saying, hey, this focus is very interesting, but it will not get you, straight A's. Either it's straight A's or it's like the bottom 0, right? Less than 0. So I was like, hell yeah, as long as I think it was funny, I fucked the grade. So actually since then, I have kept in contact with Jacob, and there was an opportunity that he could actually see potential in me, like doing a PhD, an industrial PhD, and I was like, what the hell are you actually talking about? But yeah, then then suddenly an opportunity happened, and I quit my job back then, and I got this awesome opportunity to run for an application for PhD with something called Sound Hub Denmark, a startup environment for the business of sound, and it was so good. I mean, the scope was nice, the project was nice. Everyone was signing on the idea and so on. Unfortunately, I only got like 500,000 in funding, but was missing 750,000 kroner. So that was a little bit, delay in the process, and right now it's even more delayed because I have so many projects running right now, and I think that PhD one day my focus when it needs the focus that it deserves. So right now it's my time is just so tight that I can't really focus on PhD in the same way that I want to. And I'm sorry, Jacob, if you listen to this, you are an amazing guy. I'm sure that one day we'll be colleagues. Maybe when I'm 30 or something, and you're like 40. Yeah, yeah. So that's the PhD.
Tan, it wasn't like that before, was it? This energy and this way of doing things has always been like that. You're not from Denmark. Parents are not from Denmark.
As we also talked a little bit before that. Yeah. I mean, I was born and raised in Denmark with Vietnamese parents, and I can feel that. I mean, I can feel that back in days things were a little bit challenging somehow to navigate. You are in Denmark, but you are raised with Vietnamese culture, and you need to take responsible for something that a small kid maybe don't understand. So I mean, there was a way. I mean, I was also raised with you, and we were actually raised in some kind of the same neighborhood. Yeah. I was moving like, I think the first 8 years of my life, I have went to like 3 different kind of elementary schools, and I was a pretty shy guy, introvert, and I mean it's hard for me to actually trust people. I mean, it was. I'm not too sure about how my parents. I mean, it was also like we didn't have much money. Everything we bought was like on loans. So I clearly remember that. I mean, I didn't have this. I felt that I didn't have the same opportunities. I mean, my parents couldn't help me with the homework or guide me what way or what kind of possibility there is in the school system, or the only thing they could say that stay in school. That's it, and that's a really awesome mindset as well. But I felt that there was something missing, and I was always by myself. Sometimes with my thoughts and what do I actually want to achieve. So because I feel that I didn't have the same economic status or prestige. That was the thing that I actually want to achieve. I want to work hard for that. I really don't care about people because I couldn't trust them anyway. So if I wanted to do something, it was on myself. So I mean, it was a really long time before I actually realized that, hey, this might be not. I was like 22, and at that point I had like a girlfriend, and we lived in a really nice place in Aarhus with the water view, and I was studying and bought my first car with my own money that I hustled the way to finance, and I realized that that was cool. But I mean, what's the next step? A bigger car, a bigger apartment, and what else? I mean, it doesn't make sense. And I know people, my classmates from university was also like, when they're visiting me, they're like, how can you actually afford that? You must be raised and born in a rich family. That why don't you have like a Bang & Olufsen speaker or fancy furnitures? I mean, I worked hard for that, and there was a lot of sacrifices as well with that. So yeah, definitely things were not the same way as it is today, because it's quite hard to actually be. I actually remember I did enjoy making troubles. I don't want to. You remember as well, throwing rocks on buses. with the fireworks in the trash cans and make it blow up. I mean, there was a lot of things that I didn't want to do, but I mean the group, they will all do it, so and I want to be a part of them something. So I mean, all the way I've always felt like, all right, I'm alone in this. I mean, and I'm the one taking responsible for this and that, and also with foreign parents, sometimes they fight a lot. And what do you do about it? I mean, you can just like fuck it, turn into yourself and just take responsibility of your own life. But I mean, how can you actually do it? You're like a 10 or 12-year-old kid that didn't know anything. So I mean, I'm very, very hesitant. And actually, every time I made a move from like when I was done with elementary school and I had to start like high school, every time I did that kind of decisions, I always left my classmates behind. When I started high school, I didn't know a single person in my class, and there was a business school, so all the other classmates, there was like they were having great. They have parents with a lot of resources, and I felt like, I mean, who the fuck cares, man? I don't care about their opinion. I was, the first 16 years of my life, I'm getting used to. I'm dependent on my own, myself. But then I realized that the Danish culture is more than that. I mean, I realized that people in different kind of society and group, despite that they're living in the same town, has actually some other kinds of values that is interesting to explore. So every time that I was forced out of my comfort zone, because I just knew that, all right, I actually didn't know what kind of direction educational wise I want to do, but it was always someone, Jesper Christensen, our classmate, class teacher, yeah. I was like, I thought I was stupid to take a high school. He was like, "You taking a high school? All right, if you say so." So that's how I ended end up in high school. And afterwards for university, I don't remember why I chose business, but I think there was someone, also a teacher, perhaps. Yeah, you should probably read that. Okay. And actually, well, I'm quite proud that I got when I got accepted to the university, I was like, hell yeah, man, I'm accepted to university. That's a big thing, man. So basically, every time I was pushed out of my comfort zone, I was always, reset back to square one, or back to zero, and had to build things up and learn new people, and yeah, how to actually establish relationship. And that was quite hard for me as well. I mean, because I always like, until I was 20, I always like assuming that people, they only focus on themselves. And I'm not, there's a lot of people thinking of course about themselves, but you can also find people that's like-minded, and then I mean, my advice is never choose people and work with people that are just aiming for straight A's, or successful is defined by the term of money. Choose people that you actually enjoy to work with. That will make you happy as well. That's important to actually take that decision and be brave about it, and just like, fuck it, if everyone else is actually choosing one direction, I'm going the other way, because that's that's the right thing for me. So I mean, it's always like stand up for yourself, take the decisions that is giving value for you, and don't necessarily go with the flow. That's a really great thing, in my own opinion. That I mean, we're different. Some people like to have a high status job, work from 8 to 8, and earn 100K a month. But I mean, that's not the answer for everyone. So I mean, just basically going back, I think my development is up. The video is not shared, right?
We will see that about that. But yeah, would you change anything that happened? Would you blame your parents for all that? Did they have a choice?
No, I'm not blaming anyone. I mean, this is a part of life. I mean, it's sometimes it's hard, and I think that think that is how you manage it is the most important thing. I'm not blaming anything. I mean, because that journey is actually defining who I am. I mean, I'm, I want to fight about it. It's and that's it. I mean, if I want to achieve something really bad, I'm going for it. That's it. And I remember that one time in my university that actually one teacher was saying to me, "You blank man." I was like, "All right, let's stop it here, because screw you. You should not tell me what I can do or what I cannot do." So I ended up blank the fucking exam and take the next one, and I got like a good grade anyway. And that's just I think that based on how I was forced to take responsibility, and that's how I actually want to work hard for the goals I want to achieve. And I think that if you ask me again about who's to blame, I mean, this is not who's to blame.
No.
This is like actually saying I actually appreciate what happened. So, and maybe you can say blame like that, but it's not a negative way, for sure.
It's a journey, and
yeah, of course,
we learn from it. I can see that, and you are here because of that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's and also the people I've gathered today they are somehow like-minded as well, and it's so funny. I mean, this is the fun experience at the on the whole journey, is that I've managed to have a rather, when I was in university, like just 4 years ago, I didn't know anybody. I mean, I know you're not anybody, of course, but but I mean, it's like I didn't know people from the professional life, and just fast forwarding 4 years later or 3 years later, I know a lot of people, and I know a lot of people that I actually want to know, and the people I don't need to know, they are automatically deselected. And that's like, it's not like, hey, I'm not going to talk with you. No, it's also about humble and being honest, but also respect your time. That you should always not only in that way, but rather focusing on spending time with people that actually want you the best. And I mean, somehow I found a way to navigate in that. And I can't tell you how, because it's quite hard to like, it happens naturally that, all right, if you don't have something common with this person, the relationship will drift apart, but still in a good way, that you can still say hi to each other and so on. But I mean, be selective of who you actually want to spend time with, because I mean, when you're working, you spend at least half of your working hours with those people. And I mean, if the colleague sucks and you are like depressing when you come back from work, then it's not probably the right work to take. So I think that, yeah, just being yourself, know who you are before you actually go in a direction. I think that's very important, because otherwise you'll get lost somehow. I think getting lost about going that. I think you of all people should know. With your stories, I should interview you as well one day. But I mean, getting lost, that pursuing happiness based on others' definitions is hard. So maybe find your definition and work for that. I mean, I think that's a good starting point when pursuing happiness in life. I mean, what is happiness? For someone, it's about driving the latest Maserati, and the other one is like living in a basement with the people you care about, and nothing is. Yeah, the other one is not necessarily the better one and the right one. It's really who you are. And I've also seen that people that is very successful having an empty life, and that's I think that touches me the most, is that I can see people in the 30s, and I'm like, I hang with a lot of people that's actually a lot older than me, but I actually sometimes see people that, I mean, they are on a fast moving train, and and it's probably going in that wrong direction. But it's too late now, and the train is moving like 300 kilometers, and no one is, taking the emergency brake and just think about what is that? Is this the real direction? Should we go that fast? Or just rewind the story a little bit to really understand where do you actually want to be? Do we actually need to be anywhere? If the current place is the best place you ever had. So I mean, there's a lot of that kind of experience that actually opens my eyes, but I'm also like taking inspiration from other people that I think fits me well. Pick and choose, and it sounds really odd, but I mean, pick something that you think that can give value for your life, but not necessarily everything. And that's really the balance between, for instance, work and life, family, happiness. What is happiness? For me, it's always about who I'm spending time with. That's actually my happiness. So despite I have a lot of projects right now, we could actually just go and grab a pizza, and that would be a good thing as well. Yeah, I mean, it just happened that we have interests that are mutual, and we have a mutual direction, and I think that's a really good point. That for me, it's about I personally I don't care about where the train is going. I just care about who is actually on that train, because I don't give a fuck. I mean, if we need to be, if I need to earn like 1 million or 2 or 3 or 4, it doesn't make sense. If I only need, nothing, basically. I got teased a lot back then with my car. When I got my first job, I had an old car, a Golf 4. It couldn't be, anything worse. But I loved that fucking car because that was like my first car, and I had to hustle a lot. And just by buying that car, that it broke down all the time, it learned me, I can get some parts from China, and I can probably sell that because it's a good, it's a good quality. And I'm very detail oriented about what is quality in that term. So I actually learned a lot from that and hustled my way. Today I'm still hustling, selling used reels, fixing iMacs. I think it was like when I was 19, I bought my first broken iPhone, and I flipped that. I fixed it and I flipped it, and I realized, hey, you can actually earn 1,000 krona in 2 hours of work. That's a lot better than a student job, man. Then I can get the other students can take student job to get a good resume. I'm comfortable here, and that's I think that's the part that you asked me about who am I blaming. I think that's actually the reason why I have that mindset that screw what the norm is. The norm is to get the student job. I actually, until I was 24, I never had a student job. I never had a student job. The other guys were like having nice student job at Lego, big companies. I was like, yeah, I'm just cozy. I'm just selling stuff, and at least I got some money to I can live, and that's my way of doing it. I can handle the resume later when I need to, not because I need to compete with everyone else. Because I was like, when I was done with a master's degree, I was quite taking it easy. If I want a job, I'll get it, and I always also got a job, and yeah, and that's my approach, I guess.
Yeah. So you have always been selective.
Yeah.
You have taught me that actually.
Yeah.
You have taught me that we should be selective about what we let in and what we engaged ourselves and what we get pissed about, what we got frustrated about, or what we let inside. So
yeah,
it's funny that.
Yeah. It's actually funny that you're saying that, because me and you, we had like we were going two different directions, but the only thing that kept us together was our values that we had in similar. But I mean, that was going like months, despite that we didn't had contact, because you were going in a whole other direction.
Yeah.
I mean, and I would not go that way,
No.
and that's me. I mean, I like you, I love you as a best friend of mine, but I will not go in the same direction as you. I'm not going to parties and everything else. And I remember like it was yesterday that I was asking, are you actually having fun when you are doing that? And you actually said no. But the funny thing is that you kept continuing for the next couple of years. I mean, and that's a way of maybe deselect that. All right, I'll let him do what he think is best for him.
Yeah.
Maybe someday he will, turn around and realize what is actually important for you. And I think that you found it. It took a little bit of time. There was a turbo lag there for sure. But I mean, that's you need that. You need to be in that process. We all need to be some kind of process. And I've learned a lot that people don't need to follow my process, because my process is mine, and I want to share it. But if you want to, you don't need to like take it as it is. You can adapt it to yourself, because I mean, yeah. Ask people that knows me best. I mean, I'm quite a stubborn guy. I don't really give a shit about if people have want some negative want to influence me with negative stuff in life. I'm just filtering off, and that can be either it's arrogance or it's actually a piece of genius to actually filter out. And I'm not sure if it's the one or another, but right now it works for me and it makes me happy about it. So that's why also we have to talk right now is that despite I have a lot of projects and I'm driving a good car, but an old car, and so on. It really does mix. It fits me.
Yeah.
It fits me, and that's the most important thing.
So if we could give advice to the 16 years old, the 18 years old, what would that be?
I'll say that it's all right if you feel confused.
Yeah.
It's all right if you feel some kind of loneliness. But figure out what creates your value. If it creates you, it makes a value that you are, playing games. I mean, that's all right. I mean, as long as you're happy about it. But if you're playing games to hide yourself and forget about life, then you probably have an issue with it, and you don't feel happiness inside. So I mean, my advice for a 16-year-old is to be young and foolish. Try a lot of things. I'm not saying a lot of things, and don't do illegal stuff, kids. But I mean, still, do something that you feel what you want to do, despite that everyone around you is saying this is the wrong focus. A lot of people saying get your education, get your job, blah 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 blah, and get straight A's. I mean, if that's not what you want, then forget about it. You probably if you're happy with the volunteer work and that's your life, take that. Because I'm seeing like one of my really good friend that actually got married like 2 months ago in Norway. He was like entrepreneur, had multiple business, always busy, and that is Rasmus Hartmann, and he's like I mean, he was a maniac back then. I mean, when we started the bachelor degree, he was working constantly, and I was like, what the hell are you doing? But I mean, at some point his focus was turning because he felt that this wasn't right. He wanted to be a professional football player. Then his kneecap, he got an injury, and then the dream was broken down. But then he figured out that, hey, this is not about it. This is not what I want. If you want, I don't want to achieve the best position. I don't want to be an entrepreneur. Or he is actually kind of entrepreneur, but he wants to do it in a social way. So right now he's moving up in Norway. He's tried to recruit me a lot of times to Norway, and he have a beautiful wife that is, they both are focusing on what they want to do, and that is actually to support, have a vision that helps people. Right now, they are having, they just got funding for a project helping immigrants to actually get jobs in Norway. I mean, that's a total, different kind of focus, because he has a master degree. He could do whatever he wanted. He could probably get a high salary as well, but that was not the value for him. And that he has inspired me a lot actually. He inspired me the piece that you actually need to open up yourself and let people in. Yeah. And that's his achievement, and he probably know that. I mean, I feel that our master degree, we had the opportunity, like, should we aim for a good grade, or should we just play Call of Duty? And the master degree, it could, we will look into it when we wanted to. So basically, I actually chose him. Despite that I made almost the whole work on a master's thesis, we were having fun. And that's the red thread of it. That, I mean, it doesn't matter if people are not, they cannot contribute with something with the scale of circumstances, but if they are willing, have the right mindset, and have the right personality, then that is the most important thing. And that's why, I mean, remember to get slow back, what do you call it? Like, don't take things too fast and too seriously, but take things, take the time that is needed to, open up a relationship. Because, I mean, that will give you value in the longer terms.
Is it about passion or purpose?
Can you be more specific?
Because I wrote something that just wrote.
Yeah.
It says purpose over trumps passion. That if you have a goal, you could be passionate about something. You could be passionate about playing football or playing computer. Yeah. But if it doesn't have any real purpose, like Rasmus, your friend, he was focused on himself in the beginning, maybe, and worked for himself and developing himself. And now he's in Norway, focusing on adding value to everybody around him. It seems for me that's beautiful, actually. Taking the focus from being only about himself and putting it out there.
I mean, it's I really respect him. And we have like a weekly call that's never going to be happening, because I mean, we're quite busy with our life. Every Wednesday, Rasmus, I will call you someday. But I think it's awesome what he's doing. That just pull the plug and just move somewhere, or do get out of your comfort zone, because you feel that that's the right thing to do. And I mean, if things weren't that fucking expensive in Norway, I probably have moved there. I think it's just too crazy. But I mean, still, it's he has a purpose about something, and I mean, I think I would change the word purpose to like personal or personality, because that's at the end, as I see it, that defines the purpose. And the purpose defines the passion, blah blah blah, and that goes on, right? So I mean, it's everything you should get yourself sorted, and it's okay if you're 50 years old and haven't found yourself. I mean, I haven't found myself. I mean, I think I'm getting a place where I actually like, but I'm not. I mean, I get tempted, man. I get tempted of a fixed salary. I get tempted on, okay, if I get the fixed salary, I can take my parents to traveling around, and I can travel around as well, and probably buy a bigger turbo to my car. I mean, I got tempted as well. So I mean, I have a dream, and I think that you have a dream as well. That, I mean, one day just moving out on the countryside, having a house and a garage. For me, I want a garage where I can actually working on cars, because one of my actual dream was when I was, I think, 14. And my whole life, I like cars. I love cars. I love, changing oils. I love getting my hands dirty. But one day, from the elementary school, the nurse was saying, yeah, you can't do that. I have some soft skin. That she told me, yeah, you can't do that. All right, what the hell I'm going to do now? All right, Jesper told me I have to take a high school. All right, I'll take that. But still, I love doing cars. I love, despite that people don't like my style in cars sometimes. I mean, I'm doing it anyway. Love to do it myself. I have like lately, I actually washed and detailed some cars from my friends and take some awesome pictures to get them sold. And I mean, yeah, I got a master degree. I have a couple of jobs, and but yeah, I'm not too far to like washing a car and getting my hands dirty because I like it. That's my passion for that. And who cares about if people are judging me with ugly clothes, standing there looking like a bum, a homeless guy? I mean, it doesn't matter as long as you're having fun. So yeah, but always do your passion. I mean, don't think about too much about what people are thinking, because at some point in my life I also reached a stage where people actually they know. I mean, they know that I have something on my mind, and they know that I when I say something, it's well thought out, and my expression, clothes and lifestyle and so on. People are not, they know that I can do something, but I mean, it's that's the way of it's not the right direction. So I mean, in the later, the latest couple of years, I'm like more. I want to be decreasing a little bit, and just despite that, it's I earn a lot more money than I can actually spend, and I like to squeeze every kronas and dollars that I earn. I want to squeeze it to get the most valuable thing value out of it. And that's the mentality I still have. And some people disagree, like saying, why are you driving an old car? I mean, you can probably buy a better car. I mean, if it doesn't create value for me, then it doesn't matter, man. I don't care. And sometimes it's really important to find your way and find your place that gives you value. And yeah, that is important. So I have eaten a fancy restaurant. I have traveled, I travel a lot. I've eaten Michelin restaurants, also with you, that I introduced to. Because I mean, eating fancy doesn't necessarily have to cost like a half kidney or a whole kidney. You can just travel into Eastern Europe, and you can get a awesome gourmet experience for for a tenth of the price. So why do that? I mean, and that's my approach all the time. Um, Also with the clothes, I have two period in you know 2 periods in the year where I buy clothes. That is when I sell. Because I mean, why spend 1,000 kronas on a shirt when it's probably in 4 months from now we'll get half the price. And I mean, so that's yeah. Let's not spending money now. Let's spending money when it's a good time to spend money.
Yeah. So it's about being more efficient with money. It's about choosing the right things for yourself that makes you more maybe more comfortable and happy. Not necessarily comfortable, but are more authentic of who you are. Not going with the flow.
Yeah.
Because I went in a way and you didn't go with the flow.
Yeah.
You chose your own direction. You were and still are good with the economy, really good. So it's an inspiration for me.
Yeah, that's
to
good.
to be beside you in this journey.
Yeah.
For the past 14 years, actually.
Yeah, it's a long time now.
Dan, thank you a lot for sharing your story.
No problem.
Thank you a lot for sharing your vulnerability. And
yeah, of course.
it was nice to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation. And yeah, please reach out if there's anything I can help with next time. And yeah, of course, if anyone listen and I've mentioned some names, either please don't take it personally or take it personally.